Coach, let's start by going back to the game last week in LaGrange. Another solid defensive effort, just 7 points allowed, and it came late in the second half. You had to be pleased with, there were a couple of, the defense was challenged. They had the long 80-yard kick return. They put it inside the red zone, and the defense was able to make all the stops they needed to make.
Well, I think that is LaGrange is a playoff team from last year. They're a good team. They had their players back. I mean, we're both playing without our starting tailbacks. The difference in the game is we capitalized on their mistakes, and it was a hard-fought game for a long time. And then we got a touchdown. It's the third week in a row we've taken a 2-minute drill type situation at the end of a half and taken the ball in the end zone, which is really impressive. And then we had the 3 interceptions back to back to back that led to scores. Obviously, one of them was returned. So that took a game that could have been tight and kind of made it a blowout. Hey, we have a lot of respect for LaGrange, and I was proud of how our team played. I thought there were points in the first half where we played with a little bit less poise than we should have, and we made some simple errors, and we corrected those mistakes at halftime and came out and really played a sound second half.
With the injury to Josh Nevitt, of course, he's done for the season. It gives some players an opportunity. We had a chance to talk with Paul Gilstrap a little while ago and talk about what he's meant to the defensive line and really the rotation, how it shapes up now, even with Nevitt gone. Still, the stats were very strong on Saturday.
Well, we're very fortunate, to have a defensive line as deep as we do. Going into the LaGrange game, we knew we had to battle not just a good team, but travel and weather. It wasn't hot. It was about 85 degrees, but it was really humid. So we had a rotation where we just had 6 guys rotating in and out the entire day. Losing Josh Nevitt, still makes me sick to my stomach. He's been a great player for us. But, Jeff Dorsey stepped up and did an outstanding job. Eric Adams, who's been a super player for us over the last 2 years, really played well on Saturday. And Paul, Paul's been in the rotation for 2 years now. And, Mike Ward and Carlos James get a lot of the ink or a lot of the press, but, Paul's kind of the unsung hero who always gets the job done. He's a technician. He's extremely coachable, and he's a great football player on top of all those things.
And I think one player we've seen blossom this past week, had an interception in the game, is Micah Seydoux, who's really stepped into the linebacking core and has given you guys a huge boost in that position.
Michael's a free safety or a cornerback at 6'3", playing inside linebacker. There's a guy that he can run a 4.6 40. He's very tall and rangy, and as he settles into that position, he could really be a dominant player.
On the offensive side of the ball, a name that we saw carry the ball a lot more this week was Brandon Wright. He had to be pleased with his effort on Saturday.
Well, I tell you what, the entire tailback position. Here we are. Aaron Jackson goes out with a high ankle sprain. Abib Badmus, Brandon Wright, Garrett Burgess, and Barry Garrard all did a great job. Just did tremendous. We came back from that game, and I was talking to Coach Knapp on the way home, and, feeling really proud of our tailbacks all stepping up and doing a great job, in Aaron's absence.
Well, you talk about the depth of the running backs, the depth of the entire team, the fact that you've been able to really go deeper into your roster in some of these games early on in the season. Is that a nice luxury to be able to get some of the, maybe the second-string players some experience just in case something happens like a Josh Nevitt or an Aaron Jackson? Well,
naturally, that's a benefit of having that happen. We want to stay away from that situation at all costs.
This week is Frostburg, obviously the beginning of the ACFC schedule. Talk to us a little bit about what you're expecting to see from the Bobcats this afternoon.
Well, a couple things before we talk about the Bobcats. It's homecoming. It's an exciting time for us. Frostburg has always been a traditional rival for us. It's a Hall of Fame weekend. We have 9 former Wesley football players going into the Hall of Fame. We're very excited about those guys Friday night. And being inducted Friday night and coming out to the game on Saturday. We're going to try and get it so they're going to come out to our practice on Friday to meet our team. So we're excited about those things. We don't want that to be a distraction from the job at hand, and that's winning a football game. Frostburg has struggled this year, although they're moving the football through the air as well as almost anyone in small college football. Last week they threw for 313 yards. Micaiah Cooper, had 170 yards pass receiving. Outstanding speed at the receiver position for them. Josh Volpe, who came on strong for them at the end of last year, has been their backup. The Phoenix Butler Poole, who got injured and out for the year with a hand injury. So Volpe will be the guy that we have to go against. He's more of an athletic, scrambling type quarterback, and we got to keep him contained. The other two things that we have to worry about is they got two running backs. And Anthony King and I can't remember their running back's name, but both of those guys have been starters there for 4 years. Mm-hmm. So we have a kind of relationship with those guys. We see them every year. They're big, strong, bruising backs.
Well, best of luck on this homecoming weekend, and we'll talk to you after the game.
Sounds great. Thank you.